The preliminary information that we have, and again, I emphasize this is still preliminary because there's still a lot of moving parts. Our CSI and homicide investigators are already on scene. We believe this was a small gathering that turned deadly. It appears there were a number of people inside the residence, possibly just guessing between 10 to 20 people. We're told it was some type of short-term rental, possibly Airbnb, that was contracted to use the residence, and there may have been some type of gathering going on with some young adults, guessing all in their 20s, possibly, when all of a sudden things turned deadly. Don't know if the suspected shooter or shooters were already inside the house or if it's somebody that came uninvited to the house and began opening fire. Outside of the house along the street, we also have some firearms evidence there, so there's evidence that other people were shooting outside of the residence. But again, all still preliminary. That's what we have right now. A total of 3 persons confirmed deceased, 2 at the home and 1 at a hospital, and there's possibly more injured. So we're asking that if anybody knows or saw anything to please give us a call. They can give us a call at our dispatch at 713-221-6000. They could always call homicide at 713-274-9100, or they could call Crime Stoppers and report it anonymously via tipster at 713-222-TIPS, 713-222-8477. Briefly in Spanish. Esta mañana aproximadamente a las 2:15 de la madrugada recibimos una llamada que habían disparos dentro de una residencia. Al llegar, minutos después, nuestros oficiales encontraron 2 personas que estaban muertas en la escena. Una tercera persona fue trasladada a un hospital donde falleció. En total, 3 personas están muertos en este momento. Nos dice que es una mujer, un hombre y otro hombre en el hospital. Y otras personas que están recibiendo tratamiento en el hospital, pero no sabemos su condición. Parece que alguien rentó esta casa para un tipo de fiesta. Tal vez habían entre 10 a 20 personas que estaban dentro de la casa. No sabemos si era una fiesta o qué es lo que estaba pasando, y tampoco no sabemos si la persona que entró, que si estaba ya parte del grupo que estaba en la casa o si fue alguien que llegó a asaltar o robar. No sabemos, eso todavía va a ser parte de nuestra investigación. Pero si alguien tiene información, por favor, que nos llamen. Pueden marcar una manera anónima al 713-222-8477. Any questions at this time?
Yeah, Sheriff, deputies got to the scene just a few minutes after the call dropped. Were people fleeing from the home? What was the scenario like when deputies arrived at the scene?
It was a very active scene. It was very chaotic upon the deputy's arrival. As you mentioned, he arrived within a few minutes. He immediately noticed that at least one or 2 persons were dead on scene. Others were possibly injured. There were several people, so wanted to try to first assess the damage and any injured, tend to them, and then obviously just try to start getting some control over the scene. So it appears that the first deputies did an outstanding job, the supervisor that's out here on the scene. And again, very chaotic with so many people. We have people at the hospital, and so in some ways we're still trying to piece it all together even now. Again, we know that besides the 1 person that's deceased at the hospital, there may be 2 others receiving treatment. We don't know the extent of their injuries, and there may be others that drove off and are now showing up at clinics. So if anybody shows up at an area clinic or hospital, we like to know about it so that we could, again, try to piece all this together and hopefully get some more answers.
Do you know the age of the people that died?
Just preliminary information. I mean, it appears they were all in their 20s. So I don't know specific ages or anything like that at this point. That'll be part of what we investigate. We haven't identified anyone yet. So I don't know their exact ages, but I'm told it's a range primarily in their 20s, early to mid to late 20s.
And we still just don't know what led up to the shooting. It was a small gathering, and we don't know if the shooter was already there or just kind of pulled up.
Correct. Yeah, we don't know. We don't know exactly what led up to it. Again, it was a gathering that was happening there. It appears to be a short-term rental, and we don't know again if there was some type of disturbance that broke out amongst the invited guests or the people that were already inside, or if it's somebody that showed up unannounced. some type of targeted attack or something like that. So that'll be part of our investigation, and we ask for our public's help to assist us in case somebody fled and we didn't get a chance to identify or talk to that person yet. We'd like to know what happened.
Have you guys been able to look at any surveillance footage from any homes nearby?
Not yet. That'll be part of our canvas effort to canvas the neighborhood and ask the residents as well. Just everybody has a camera these days, so they could review footage right after the 2 a.m. hour to about 2:20 is when everything. The key times, and then obviously before or after if they saw any vehicles fleeing, and it does appear that shots were fired outside the location as well, along the street, as maybe people were fleeing. So very chaotic and dangerous situation where others could have been injured as a result of just the random gunfire that was occurring outside as well. So we know that it was in the early morning hours. A lot of people probably maybe went back to sleep or something, and so hopefully as they wake up they could tune in to you and get that information to us.
So, Sheriff, preliminary information, probably at least 5 people shot. Y'all have evidence markers out on the streets. Would you say that maybe dozens of shots were fired?
Oh,
I mean, how
it appears that was the case with several people shot inside. We don't know if there was one or 2 shooters. But obviously there's evidence inside the house, and then there's also evidence along the street. So it appears multiple shots, many shots were fired. In total, we don't know that yet. Obviously, we'll be having daylight soon. That'll help out a little bit. And we have artificial lighting as well from our crime scene investigators that are processing the scene.
Perfect. Is there any ongoing threat to the public?
We're still trying to identify who the shooters may be. And so we're still trying to firm up those details so we could get accurate information out. But there's no immediate threat, no longer an immediate threat in that vicinity. But obviously, if somebody did flee, and again, we don't know who the wounded are. We don't know if one of the wounded one is a possible shooter or not as well. So I don't want to make that assumption just yet because it's all still preliminary. But as soon as we do get information of a possible suspect or suspects, we'll definitely put that out. But if somebody did flee, then yeah, I mean, this was a very serious scene where even more people could have been deceased, and maybe there will be. I don't know the condition of the ones at the hospital. But so yeah, it's always a possibility that we have armed and dangerous individuals that fled this location, and we would obviously ask for caution from the community. Hopefully we could identify individuals that may have been connected to this, but at this point we just don't have that yet. Thank you all very much.